On my most recent video explaining how to build a poor man's track saw, I got a YouTube comment about this Outfeed table for the table saw. Now, although Dave, my dad, built this Outfeed table and not me, I can go ahead and show you how this is constructed, and hopefully you can build something similar for your saw if that's what you're looking for. I will point out that this Outfeed table, unlike a lot of the ones that I've seen and ones that I see guys building on YouTube, this does not have downward feet supporting it. It has angle braces that are supported by the table saw itself. And I'll show you that after we take this table off and kind of look at how it's constructed. But before we do that, let's look at the dimensions. This table, as it sits, is 43¼ by 24½. So that's the dimension of the tabletop. And for reference, this is a Grizzly G1023S 10-inch table saw. I'll go ahead and pull this off here and set it on my assembly table, and I'll show you how it is fastened to the saw before we break down how it's built. Now, the only part that is actually fastened to the saw, to this piece of angle that runs off the back of the table, is this oak strip that, from what I can see, it just has holes drilled through the angle and screws fastening this piece of oak to this piece of angle. Now, the only thing that I can see that would be very critical here is that you're flush with the end of the angle and that this top surface is parallel to the table. Well, now let's just talk about the table construction itself. This is an OSB substrate with a frame made of, looks like a variety of materials. I'm guessing just scrap that was laying around the shop, and a cherry band all the way around the edge. The only things that are really critical about this is that you have enough support in the frame of the table itself, and these hardwood blocks have enough room to span enough support for the leg itself. Now, in case you're wondering, I did check it, and these legs are at a 50-degree angle. Also, by assembling them with washers on either side of the leg and the block that they're mounted to, they'll fold down. So that if you don't want the Outfeed table on the saw, you can store it as flat as possible. This one never leaves the saw. Now, the only other thing of note to me here would be this dadoed groove on the bottom, and these dados here that provide the relief for the bolts on the angle of the saw that bolt it to the table. You can see those right here. This is 1.5 inches, this edge to the start of the dado, and this dado measures about 13/16 of an inch wide. There is a filler piece here in the bottom that is, I believe that's Formica, and I'm not sure if that was meant for just a spacer if the dado was cut too deep, or if it was meant to allow that to slide on that oak strip. I don't really know what the advantage would be for the table to slide. I don't think that's really something you'd want, but nevertheless, that's how this one is made. Now, the only other thing that really matters here is these miter gauge slots in the top, and they're about 1 inch wide. The spacing and the size will be dependent on the saw that you're mating this piece up to. The surface itself is a piece of high pressure laminate. I would think that if I were making this piece today, that I would rather use a piece of masonite, something that's already got the smooth, slippery surface on it. But if you've got a piece of high pressure laminate and you've got material for a substrate, I don't think that'd be a problem at all. And when it's all assembled, fits on there just like that. You can bump it around so that your miter gauge slots line up with your table very nicely. The fence slides over, no problem. And it's nice and flush to the top of the table saw. The overall thickness of the table is 1.5 inches, but you could make yours whatever you want as long as it doesn't hit the angle that bolts on the front end of the saw. And that's how this Outfeed table is made. I hope that helps somebody.
Thanks for watching Dave's Old Workshop. Like the video if you liked the video. Comment if you've got something funny or intelligent to say. And share it with somebody else that might find it interesting.